Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. Alright, hi friends, and welcome to another recommendation video. And today we are doing a trope that I keep meaning to do and I just kept having other stuff come up. But it actually is a bit of a flashback to when I was a part of the readathon that I did back in, which month was it? Was it in April or May that I was a part of a readathon this year? I think it was April. Or no, it was May. Yes, because I was a part of 2 readathons in May. And one of the tropes that my team, the spies, had was secret rendezvous. And I kept meaning to do a trope video that was specific to that, and it just never happened. That is how behind I've been with everything this year. It's crazy. And it is the end of July. But anyway, I mean, trope videos can be done whenever. They don't just have to be done when we have a readathon. And I thought this one would be fun, especially because you can be having secret rendezvous, aka a hidden relationship. Maybe it's hidden just because they don't want to tell anyone. Maybe there are secret pressures forcing them to keep it a secret. Whatever the reasons. Now, I didn't actually put this one as one of the recs for this, but one of the books I just read this last week, which was called The Royal Situation, had a lot of these secret rendezvous in it as well, which is between a royal prince and a woman who is his, I wouldn't call it his bestest friend, like they say, a friend's younger sister, but I mean, I didn't see him around that friend very much, so I would say it's an acquaintance younger sister, is what I would say, but they were having lots of secret rendezvous while he was supposed to be looking for a wife that his family approved of, type of thing. But that one kind of inspired me to get this video made. So we're going to do this. Hopefully I'm going to try to keep it as one of my quicker rec videos. But as always, just a reminder, any of these recs that you are interested in, I will have a link to them in the description if you want to grab it off of Amazon. If you don't want to grab it off of there, that's totally understandable. But also just if you want a quick guide to which books are in this, I always have them listed down there with a link, so that is helpful to know. Also, just want to put it out there before we get into it, I do have a Patreon membership sale going on right now. It's my summer sale, so it's 20% off either your first month or your first year as a member. That being, I have both monthly and annual memberships available, and I'm having a 20% off sale this week. And I'm just mentioning that because I do this full time and it's only because of my Patreon that I'm able to do that. So I wanted to give that a shout out. So without further ado, let us get into these rendezvous trysts or secret trysts or secret, hidden, forbidden relationships. Not all of them are forbidden again, but they're certainly secret for a good part of the story. Let's start off with one that, you know, everyone's been going absolutely gaga for, myself just as much as any other, but one that definitely was an inspiration for this list as well. So we'll just briefly touch on it because if you don't know what the story is already, I just like calling it a secret rendezvous story because it absolutely is. And of all of them in this list, let me take a gander here. It definitely has the most longevity and the most long-held secret relationship of the bunch by quite a wide margin. And that, of course, is heated rivalry. Yes, y'all, we know it's here. But, you know, I feel like Ilya and Shane are the kings of secret rendezvous. And even though the closet may be made of glass for them, they certainly still do keep it a secret for nigh on a decade, which becomes quite comical at one point when things start being revealed because it's like, wow, how did y'all keep it a secret? Because you're obsessed. But yeah, this is Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanoff. Need I say more? Probably not, but will I? Yes, I love this couple. I love this series, honestly. They're wonderful. They make me so happy. I would talk about them every day, and most often I do. I find they come up in conversation just so naturally now because they're so ingrained in how I feel about the current state of romance, and it just makes me so happy. So, yeah, we're just putting it out there, getting it out of the way. Rendezvous tryst, hidden relationship. There it is. Let us continue on. All right. Okay, another one I read very recently that is another inspiration for this list. I know I keep saying that. There were a couple books that were like, hey, maybe it's time to finally make this list because you've been reading a few of these lately. Quite a few on this list are actually older, and you'll see what I mean. But Heated Rivalry just always sits in my heart. It's right at the tip of my tongue to mention all the time. But another one is West of Forever by Corinne Michaels. And this one is also between like family, a rivalry, but like between families, not between hockey teams. And this one is about Tristan Stone and Lark. What's their last name? I can't remember. But their families are in a rivalry. And what is also interesting, though, about this one, how their rendezvous get started, is that Tristan, he's a cowboy. Again, his family, they are rivals with hers. But he was actually married to one of her dear friends. And this woman died many years ago. He has a daughter with her. And so he doesn't have specifically beef with her, right? It's this family rivalry. And one of his siblings does have beef with one of hers. Their families as a whole are blaming each other for certain things, but they don't specifically have beef with one another. There's just that, like, we must stay away from each other because our families have problems, right? But when they run into each other at the beginning of this book is when Lark is having some problems with her vehicle. It's raining. She has a flat tire, and Tristan comes across her. It's dark out. He's coming back from delivering some horses, and he's like, I can't leave you out here. You could get hit. Something could happen. And her boyfriend has refused to come and get her, and she doesn't want to call one of her brothers, of which I think she has 3, 2 of which live within the vicinity, because she's like, they will wonder why my boyfriend wouldn't come to get me. And Tristan is like, yeah, I'm wondering why your boyfriend won't come to get you either. He sounds like a piece of shit because I would drop everything to come and get you. And so he helps her unhitch her car, or I mean her truck, and he brings her home. And so it kind of reignites this conversation between the two of them. And after a couple more times of them running into one another, they set up these times to meet each other on Infinity Ridge, which is actually this beautiful place here, which is this space between their 2 properties where they end up agreeing to meet to have these rendezvous. And they promise not to tell anyone. And she ends up, I should probably say too, she does end up dumping her boyfriend after he doesn't come to get her. It's not solely for that reason, but it's a pretty good indicator that the relationship is doomed when he wasn't willing to come and get her, because who cares if he's tired or it's raining? This woman he proclaimed to love was in danger, and he was dragging his feet and then made excuses. So that's you lose, moving on type of situation. And yeah, I really love that Tristan kind of calls that out. And so she ends up breaking up with him and then is just kind of looking for some fun. And he is a widower. He is a single dad, and he doesn't have time to date, but they're both very attracted to each other. They understand the situations in life the other one has. And they start having sex on Infinity Ridge. And of course, it's only supposed to be sex. It's not supposed to mean anything. And we'll see how long that lasts for them. Spoiler alert, not very long. Okay, the next one also has a family rivalry going on. You'll see there's patterns about why we would need to keep things a secret. However, for these 2, the way it starts, they don't know that there's a family rivalry really right at the beginning, because how they run into each other is very much romantic, a romance novel type of way. And this is All for Love by Willow Astor. And these two actually meet on an airplane when our heroine faints basically into the hero's lap. She hasn't eaten enough and she's on the way back to Minnesota after dropping her daughter off for a stay with her father in California. And the hero, he has a business in California, but his family lives in Minnesota. And they end up chatting when she comes to, and then when their plane lands, things happen, and there ends up being a bit of a little blizzard, as can happen in Minnesota, and they end up having a bit of a fling. Then I think they then go over to his house or her, I can't remember whose place. They end up switching which place they're at for some reason. I think she ends up coming over to his place and he's going to cook for her. And she sees some pictures on the wall and realizes whose family he's a part of. It's one way or the other. Again, I can't quite remember. It's been a hot minute and I didn't grab the explanation because I remember this romance enough to know that, right? And she has told him she has a daughter by this point who's young and what the scenario is, and he's cool with that. But then we discover that she's actually the daughter of his family's greatest enemy. And I know that sounds dramatic. This one's a contemporary romance, and this isn't a cowboy romance where there's feuding families on a ranch, but this is a series where if you've been reading it from the beginning, this one was the third entry. You know that Bruce, I want to say Bruce Rivers. It's not Rivers. Bruce Rivers is an actual man from Minnesota, though, so that's funny. But there's this guy named Bruce, and he's actually awful. And if you've been reading the series, you know it's no joke for her to be his daughter. And so she thinks they just have to be doomed right from the start. And he's like, that's silly. Like, my family, I understand you're feeling stressed by hearing that I'm from your enemy family or whatever. But my family wouldn't want me not to see you because of that. Like, they genuinely want me to be happy. And she's like, well, my dad won't want me to. But in the midst of that, she gets a call from her daughter, who, again, she's just dropped off with her dad. And she's supposed to be staying for like 2 weeks or something. And the little girl is in a lot of distress. She's not liking staying with her dad. And so she wants to go and pick her up or be close. And the dad is just like, I told her not to call you. Everything's fine. She's just being a baby. And she's like, I'm coming back to California and I'm staying close by because I'm not going to make my little girl feel unsafe. And so our hero in this story actually offers to, well, let me go back with you and you can stay, like, we'll stay at my place in California, and you can be close to your daughter. So after only knowing each other for a weekend, they then are going back to California again. And he then is getting to know her daughter right away, and all these things start happening. So something about Willow Astor is she always has her characters fall very fast. And yes, they keep these rendezvous secret for a while, but he's getting to know her daughter right away. He's falling for her, and very quickly, he's not going to be deterred by who her father is. It's more of a matter of, is she brave enough to tell her father who she's falling in love with, and what will that mean for her life? So yeah, but I love this one, and if you don't mind some kind of insta-love situation going on, I think Willow Astor makes this feel so cozy and so wonderful. I love her family units and found family that she writes. Like this series, it's an actual family, whereas her previous series, The Single Dad's Playbook, was a found family of all these guys who are single dads or become single dads through the series, and it was just so good. But I really like this one. Okay, now let's talk about a fanfic that it's been a hot minute since I brought up, but it's perfect for secret rendezvous situation. So this is a bound copy that my friend Mel did for me that is beautiful. And this fanfic is Contradictions by Ampersands. Yes, look at it. Isn't it just divine? It's so beautiful. It's so pretty. So this fanfic is just, it's wonderful. So this one is, let me just read the little blurb because it's been a hot minute for this as well. But, oh, I want to reread this one. I should reread Contradictions. But this one is, when Hermione Granger is presented with a problem, she turns to research, information, hypothesis, and experiments. These are all things she knows and loves, so it should come as no surprise that when she finds herself with a problem in the bedroom, she knows exactly how to find a solution. And it just so happens that the solution is in the arms of a strong and confident stranger, with hands and lips that know just how to drive her body wild. The only problem, they belong to Draco Malfoy, the one problem she should never trust. So the way that this one is that after some complications in her relationship with Ron and being told that she's not good at sex or the way she's wanting things to work out aren't realistic or yada, yada, yada. He's a loser in this, right? We know it. She does some research and she realizes, though, that she may possibly be interested in BDSM. So there is this kind of like magical matching service, actually, where you can remain anonymous and they'll match you with someone. And so she gets paired up with this mystery guy. And because it's magical, you can go in to meet this guy and you can both remain anonymous, either with Polyjuice Potion or with Mass or with disguising your voices, and be kept a mystery. And so for the start of this connection, she's getting, you know, a few hints at who this Dom is that she gets paired up with, not knowing who it is. But once she does find out who it is, let me see if I can find the picture in here. There is one piece of artwork in here. That's beautiful. There it is. Love it. Love it. She doesn't know that it is Draco. But the things that he's saying and what he is explaining to her, she is really intrigued by. Now, once things are revealed and she discovers, and it's a shock to him too, right? Because it's supposed to be mysterious on both sides. They actually, of course, know one another. This is a story where everything in the previous, like, you know, it's a AU after the fact, after the 7 books type of story. So what he's offering, though, she does really want it. Sorry, I love this. She used velvet to bind it, so I'm just petting it a whole bunch. Very decadent. And so she, they agree to keep meeting, but it absolutely has to stay a secret. It can't affect any part of their real lives. But of course, the more they learn about one another and the sexy things they do together, the more trust gets involved and the more that she starts to crave that even outside of their sexual encounters as well. So this is one that definitely stays as sexy rendezvous for a while and then goes from there eventually. So, I really want to reread this one after talking about it a bit. Mel does such a good job with these. This is so beautiful. And this is some of her older stuff too. It's just absolutely stunning. Love it. Okay. Then we have a royal romance that is one of my absolute faves, and that, of course, is Twisted Games, which, of course, like many people have said, this one gives me like Princess Diary vibes. But if Joe was young and hot, I, of course, am not saying anything bad about Hector. Okay, I think that man is fantastic. But in this case, we had Princess Bridget, who for the most of her life has been able to live the life that she wanted to live. She's had to have bodyguards in her life, but she isn't the one who's going to be queen. She is princess, so she's able to live her life that she wants to. And Reese Larson gets assigned to be her elite bodyguard, and he's the one who's living and traveling with her. Then after her brother abdicates, the chains of duty really get tightened around her, because now that her brother has abdicated, she will be the queen. And any, even possible flirtation that she'd been having with Reese, of which there definitely was things going on, she must give those dreams up. Or at least she's being told that she's supposed to. However, the more pressure she's under to be royal and to act a certain way and to find the right person to marry, the more that she craves time in solitude, and specifically craves time alone with Reese. And the loveless, politically expedited marriage that she's supposed to have is just something she wants to reject wholeheartedly. And Reese is who she really wants. And there are a few trysts in this book that are absolutely delightful, including one in a gazebo. And I just, oh man, I haven't read this one in a really long time either. This would be a fun one to revisit as well. But Anna Huang, hers are good. I mean, I know stories like Twisted Games have been made into movies so many times, but that is one I think that would make a good movie. I think it would work well. Okay, another one that is family rivalry is Rewriting the Stars by Claire Kingsley, which is kind of the culmination of the Bailey Brothers series and the beginning of the Haven Brothers series, because it is Annika Haven, who is the youngest of the Haven family. And then I honestly just went out of my head which Bailey brother it was, and I don't have a copy of this book anymore, so I can't remember. But in this one, Annika is actually a single mom, and she actually was friends with a Bailey for a long time, and they were secretly friends. And now they're both back in town. She's a single mom, and they pick up their friendship again, but they have to be really careful about it because the Baileys and the Havens have been beefing for generations. That's the type of world that this is. And there's also been something keeping them apart on purpose, some greater scheme that has tried to pull apart the Baileys and the Havens. And if they want to get to the heart of that so that they can be together and not have their families hate one another, they're going to have to solve this mystery so that they can be together. But first, that starts off with lots of secret rendezvous that are just really sweet. And it, again, culminates in a beautiful happily ever after that begins, bringing these families together as well, which is wonderful. And the Haven Brothers series is almost completed as well, too. There's only one more book coming out, and it comes out in September. Peaks and Promises, and I can't wait for that one as well. Okay, now we take a turn for the spicy here with Mercy by Sarah Kate. Now, in my opinion, this book gets not all the love that it deserves, because this one is a reverse age gap, or an older woman if you prefer not to use the term reverse age gap, but it's a best friend's son. And also, though, why I feel like calling it a reverse age gap is apropos is because Praise is the first book in this series, and it is about an ex-boyfriend's dad, and it's actually about Beau's girlfriend getting with his dad. And this one is about Beau getting with his dad's best friend. And there's just so many things I find delightful about this one, because this one also has Maggie in it. And Maggie is someone who is invested into the Salacious Players Club, but she is the only one supposedly who doesn't have a kink. At least that's what she says. She's all gung-ho about supporting the Salacious Players Club. She's happy to put her money into it, but she doesn't think that it's anything for her. However, she ends up kind of getting pushed, not like pushed as in like she really doesn't want to, but almost kind of like you say you're all about, supporting this, but yet you yourself haven't taken the kink quiz to see if there's anything about this club that really intrigues you. So she ends up taking it, and she always thought she was so vanilla, but she's not. And I love this line. It says, "In fact, I'm a lot more like Emerson Grant than I thought." And she actually gets some indications that she herself is a dom, and that she is a brat tamer. And because of this app, you can take the quiz, and then you can actually be paired up with someone who is, your best match. And then the you can rent a room at the Salacious Players Club to go and try out your kinks together in a safe place where there's people to watch out for you and provide the, you know, let's say implements for success, as it were. And in the same way that in the same way that Maggie was kind of standoffish about doing the quiz, Beau really messed up in the beginning of the series. We know that. There's some things we've learned about him, that he judged his father a bit too harshly. He was a bit of a deadbeat. He was kind of a loser to his girlfriend, leading to his father stealing his girl, and he didn't really have to try too hard. But Beau doesn't want to be on the outs with his dad, and he can come to accept that his ex-girlfriend is better with his dad than she ever was going to be with him. And he ends up actually taking the kink quiz as well and realizes that he might be a little bit subby and that he's a brat. And he ends up being the one who gets paired with Maggie. So these two end up getting paired up and having a session at the club. And of course, they end up keeping it a secret because it feels very forbidden for them that this is his dad's best friend and co-owner of the club. But one of the best parts of it is that, Emerson doesn't have too many legs to stand on given how he got with his partner. So I just wanted to put that one in there because, again, I think that one in the series doesn't get enough love. And I really like a brat tamer. And I really like how Sarah Kate handles it. And I love how she writes powerful women. So, okay, just a couple more in here. This one is a kind of like teach me romances because it's a lessons in seduction. And because it's a historical, that's kind of why it needs to be secret rendezvous, right? Just for propriety's sake, right? So we have The Lady Gets Lucky by Joanna Shupe, which, I just love this cover. When covers were still giving, man. So this one is Shy Heiress, Alice Lusk. And then there is Christopher Kit Ward. And so this is a lessons from a rake type of story. And I believe there's a house party. And she's been overlooked by all these bachelors. And so she asks this rogue Kit to give her seduction lessons. And they have these series of trysts where he's teaching her. And of course, by the end, he realizes he doesn't want to be preparing her for anyone else but himself. So very delightful. Such a sexy little book here. And man, Joanna Shupe, guys, I'm sad that her new series she has coming out, the covers are just so like boring to me, but I'm intrigued. She's doing a fairy tale retelling series right now, and the first one, well, I always hate lumping this in as a fairy tale, but the first one was like an Anastasia reimagined, but in America, in like oh wow, I just forgot what it's called. The Gilded Age, America, which I thought was cool. It was a gilded heiress instead of like a Romanoff heiress, which I thought was cool. And the next one she has coming is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which I just applied for that arc, and I'm intrigued by it. So I'll keep reading Joanna Shupe. She also has she pushed off her next Mafia release, which was a bummer, but she has a dark hockey romance coming, which I'm excited about. Okay, we have actually another pretty big age gap one to share here. And this one is an ex-boyfriend's dad one as well. And this one is Here With Me by Brooke Montgomery. This was big a little while back, I'll tell you. This one was a big, big one. Everyone was kind of gaga over this one for a hot minute when Brooke Montgomery started her new pen name. Which is funny, I mentioned Lyra Parrish at the beginning of this with the royal situation. And Lyra Parrish and Brooke Montgomery used to have a pen name together called Brooke Fox, which is kind of cool. But this one is a forbidden age gap, and it's her ex-boyfriend's dad. And I won't get into all the particulars of how this one gets set up because I want to get this video wrapped up. Like I said, I want to start trying to keep these trope videos to like 30 minutes so that they're a little more digestible here. But in this one, they end up hooking up at a rodeo. They have a really hot, sexy time together. I think I even have a hot picture because Brooke Montgomery slips some artwork into these sometimes, maybe. Is there artwork in this one? Maybe not in this one. But then he ends up becoming the farrier at her family resort. And it turns out that for a while she dated his son. And he does have some hard history with his son. This one does involve the loss of a child. Obviously not the son. The son isn't the one that dies. There was another child who did. And he's coming out of a really hard time. And he's trying to work on the relationship with his son. And so getting with his son's ex-girlfriend, it might be pretty awkward, let's just say. But I really love this. I love this couple. And yeah, this is a series that overall I really enjoyed. I love Brooke Montgomery's cowboy romances so much. Her family resorts that she does that are all like cowboy ranch, dude ranches and stuff like that. So that's a great one. And then the last one, I did want to include one that was kind of a naughtier one. So this is the only one. This is the only one that I've recommended that involves cheating in it, okay? Just to be clear. None of the others I've recommended involve cheating. They're secrets because of their families or because the relationship might hurt someone because of their previous relationship. Like even those ones where I said those are all ex relationships, right? Like it's an ex-boyfriend's dad. They aren't together. Any hurt that the ex feels is because of the fact that it's like his dad that he's dating then or something like that, right? But this one I'm going to recommend. This is the only one that has cheating involved. And when I show it to you, you'll understand. It's more complicated than that. Okay, and this is Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone. And the reason why I say that is because this relationship ends up as an MMF. They all end up married to each other at the end. But when it's in this one, it's a bodyguard named Tristan. And first he has a fling with Mark. And then he gets sent to bring Mark's fiance on a yacht from one place to the other. And Tristan learns that Mark had a fiance the whole time he was being his bodyguard and was letting himself be fucked into oblivion by Mark. And then he starts to fall for Isolde. So yes, this is a retelling of Tristan and Isolde. But, spoiler alert, this whole trilogy is out. And Mark, Isolde, and Tristan all end up together. And it's scrumdiddlyumptious. And there was even a special that Sierra Simone put out, which has these three get together with Ash, with the people, well, let me just say, from the people from the Camelot series. They have a little vacation together where they all fuck each other into oblivion, and it's amazing. So anyway, Sierra Simone is extra special like that. I just love her. She's delicious. So yes, this one is the one that has the cheating in it, and I totally understand, but it's also him meeting his two future spouses. So things are sticky. There are assassinations involved, or attempted assassinations involved. There's political machinations. Isolde is supposed to be a nun, an assassinating nun, a hit woman, a black widow, but it doesn't quite get to that point. So, yeah. But I love this. Poor baby Tristan just gets sucked into these things so much more than he can ever imagine. But I adore him anyway. Okay, I really do. And his trysts, man. The poor trysts that Tristan finds himself in. So, all right, there you go. Those are 10 books with rendezvous trysts in them, or secret relationships. And yeah, I would love to hear some of your favorites. I mean, there are so many of those exist in books because there's relationships that start that way or things like that. But these are some both old and new that I thought would be fun to get to. So Thank you so much for watching. Again, remember, please check out the Patreon sale that I have going on if you're interested in supporting me that way. Or you can check out my Ko-fi or send a super sticker or a thanks to thank me for the recommendations, or straight up just use my links to buy or rent these books from Amazon if you want to. That's a way that you can still be getting something, and it helps out my channel as well. My affiliate links with Amazon definitely do support the channel here. So those are all ways you can help support what I do here if you love the recommendations you're getting from me. And also, to get yourself some more recommendations, I have playlists with hundreds and hundreds of recommendation videos. You could literally be watching them forever and almost never run out, because I've been making them for 8 years now. So there you go. But thank you so much for watching, friends, and I'll see you next time. Bye.